So in this video of the course, we're actually going to create a website with AI. So we're going to use WordPress for this. And the reason I'm going to stick to WordPress is basically because often down the road, you need some sort of functionality, and there's all sorts of plugins and things that you can do with WordPress that just make it super easy. So that's the reason why we're going to use WordPress. Hopefully later on, I'll make some more videos about different website builders like Framer and stuff like that, just to give us more context. But with this whole building the website, we need to just go as fast as we can, right? And AI is obviously going to help us with the web design and all of that. So if you want to get started, you just I left a link down below to some of the hosts that I recommend, right? I've always used this one, A2 hosting, and they're really good because, basically they're the fastest, they have the good uptime, it's not too expensive, and all of those features just make it a really good host for me. I've used it for 5 or 6 years, and I can definitely recommend it. So what we need to do now is just buy your domain name, right? So I bought my domain name and added my domain to my hosting plan, right? If you have any problems with this, please send me a message, right? If you don't know about this part of, building websites and stuff, honestly, I'll jump on a call with you and help you out with this part. I just can't show too much because it's all my private information, right? But honestly, please just get in contact with me. Send a message to Connor@connormartin.com. I'll leave that down below as well for you to send a message if you have any problems with this, right? So I'm just going to go install, right, to WordPress, to my hosting, right? So I'm just going to click install now, and this is my new website, right? voiceagenthq.com. So that's what you have to do, fill in this information, and I'll get my passwords and stuff down here, which I won't show you. Okay, so I have my passwords done and saved. I usually send them to my email as well, just so I can have a record of them, and usually send a Google Doc as well. So it's as simple as that to install WordPress. Let's just click install. Okay, so the annoying thing about all of this way to do it is they seem to always, no matter which way I do this, they manage to add in all these plugins and stuff that I don't want. So first of all, I'm going to delete all of these. Okay, so it's important to delete all these things because this type of thing often gets conflicts, right, with what I'm going to do next. So we're going to build this whole website now with a theme called Kadence, right? So we just need to search for it here in the installed themes. No, we don't. We need to actually add new theme, right? And then search for it in the store here, or whatever this is called. It's not really a store, is it? But let's find it here and install it. So usually the way themes work is they have like one theme, you download this, but this one actually has tons and tons of templates, right? So you can just get a website like that straight away. And in our case, we're going to use AI to just, make the website filled with content that's, related to whatever your site is. Okay, so now we have our themes, right? And we can delete these other ones as well if you want, but I usually keep one just in case. But just install the AI starter templates here. So next step is to activate the Kadence AI starter templates. Right, so we'll be able to make a minimum amount of changes really with the free plan, but then you'll have to purchase that, right, if you want to, right? But I'm just going to use the free plan, right? I don't really like to spend too much time on web design and all that stuff. Just try to get the basic website so we can get onto the SEO and all of that, and then we can come back to that later on if we want. Okay, so now we have our site creation with Kadence AI. This is the 5 steps, 6 steps that we need to do. So we just need to fill in our information. Okay, so I'm just going to say I'm a company here, and then we'll change that later. Online only, okay, and in the industry, want to be AI voice agents. Okay. So what this tool is going to do is going to put all the information right and add all pages and, with the design and all. So in this case, I'm not going to write this out myself. I'm just going to ask ChatGPT to do it for me. Okay, so ChatGPT came up with that for me. So excellent. You can also improve with AI. Let's see what this is doing, if this does anything. I haven't checked this box before, but okay. There we go. We've got more information. Probably not going to change too much. Let's go to the next and the details. So here's our keywords, right? So we want AI voice agents, yeah. Voice AI. Um, okay, I want to talk about AI receptionists, AI solutions. Okay, and choose our tone here. So we want to be trustworthy. That's very important in the world of AI, right? Okay, so what are the goals of the site? So in the other video we talked about, what you want to actually do with your site, and this will be, they'll actually rearrange the site with regards to what you want your goals of the website. So this is quite important actually. So in my case, I'm kind of deciding whether to be, a more educational site or, maybe a directory or something like that, but I'll probably add the directory on later on, but let's go for this educational site first. Okay, so now they're actually generating lots of images, right? So background images and stuff like that. And you can also generate the base image, the base content, right? So they'll actually do the text for you as well. So, this is kind of new technology, right? So obviously they don't have too much. I don't want this really on my website, do I? But so let's just edit the collection here. Okay, and when you've done that, you can just generate the base content. So now it's generating all the content, right, for your website. Again, like always with AI, it's just this is our first draft, right? We can always go back and edit all this stuff out at a later date. But it's really just to get going with your website as fast as we can because there is still quite a lot of work to do with the way that I work. Is like I publish a lot of content, right? So I can get the results as fast as I possibly can. So there's the same kind of MVP philosophical view, right, of getting your website done as fast as you can as well. Okay, so now we've got our templates, right? And here we've got, all the different versions that you want, right? Probably not exactly what I would design, right? But we can always come back to this. This is probably something that I've seen a lot in the kind of space, right? So we don't really want a person there because that's not the idea of a voice agent, is it? But anyway, we can change all this stuff at a later date. Okay, so I'm just going to go for this one at the start. I think this one looks okay. So we've got that. That's fine. It looks quite a good website, really. It's fine. It's not the best website in the world, but it will do for now. We've got our different pages, right? Home, about, contact, right? So this used to take so long, even with templates, to do all this stuff. So it's great that we've got our whole website. So I don't want to have WooCommerce. Unfortunately, they have added that to me. So remember, think about when I said, the course or that I wanted. WooCommerce isn't good for courses. It's just a very bloated plugin, so we don't want to use that, right? So whatever it is you might be selling or something, they're always trying to get you to add these things, and that's quite annoying because now I'm going to have to go and delete that, and that's one of the most annoying ones to actually delete. Okay, so we have now our site. So let's see the site. Okay, so it's not the best site in the world. I will admit that, but it's okay, right? We've got fine stuff. We can go in here and edit all this stuff, right? And we can do that in a minute, right? First of all, I want to get rid of the e-commerce platform that I don't need because we really want to be thinking about trying to get rid of. Look, we've got all this bloat now that we don't want, right? So all of these things I don't want, so I have to delete all this stuff again. So I go into plugins, install plugins, and I can delete it here. Okay, so I'm going to delete my WooCommerce. If you do want to sell like digital downloads or something, they're much basic. You don't need something so complicated like this. If you do have like e-commerce products, physical products, then you can be using something like this. But there's something called like simple digital downloads or something. Just search for like add new plugin and you'll find something like that way easier and like free. So I would do that or use a different platform like PayHip, create a PayHip store or something like that. Okay, so let's just delete that. We want to keep this as simple as possible. Honestly, I've run many websites and they always get over bloated and very confusing. So we're going to use other plugins and stuff for creating content and SEO. So that's it for now. We got our first draft of our website, right? So in our website now, we can kind of customize this, right? When you click customize, you can edit these kind of things and edit the page. It's kind of like this breakdown here, all of this. If you click edit page, we'll go into that now and change stuff, right? And then this will also be the customized section is your footer, right? So we'll get rid of some of that stuff. And the cool thing is like it's all done, the contact page, we can just change this and, get rid of that button, whatever we need for our first draft of our website. I always like to get started with the blog and get going, get traffic. Okay, so I'm going to get going editing this content a little bit to make it a bit better. That's it for this video. Let's get on to the next one.